Ladies and gentlemen, Colin Kaepernick in the NFL has what I would call a very interesting relationship. Ever since Colin has been blackballed from the league after taking a knee 3 years ago, it's been an ongoing battle through the judicial system, etc. Colin was recently given a workout this weekend, and I guess you can say that ain't go too well either. Here's our reactions in the huddle. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Ready to get this show on the road.
The catchphrase of all catchphrases.
We're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick and his workout this weekend. The basic breakdown, what happened is he was set up to go to the Atlanta Falcons facility. I believe 25 teams were supposed to go to this facility, but one of Colin's concerns, Kaepernick's concerns, was that there wasn't going to be media present. And Stephen A.Smith was talking about it and how he hasn't done interviews and whatnot, and how him wanting the media there for an interview is kind of feels like it's the other side of the coin. But what Stephen A. was saying to me felt like more NFL press to me than what Stephen A. actually felt.
You see, he don't want to play. He wants to be a martyr. But guess what? It ain't working this time. All of us believe that Colin Kaepernick would have showed out. And if he had showed out, I'm here to tell you, I believe he would have had a job inside of 2 weeks. But it didn't happen because he didn't show. He wanted to show up to a high school in Georgia.
But real quickly, let them know like where Colin Kaepernick worked. He worked out to a high school.
Yeah, he went to a high school
60 miles away from where the initial workout was supposed to be.
About an hour away. Brought his own receivers. Brought his own.
Had the Kunta Kinte shirt on.
Yeah, had the media present. So
here's the thing that you're leaving out though, which is big. He had told them, all right, I'll agree to this. 25 NFL representatives went to this spot where it was supposed to be, and then he tells them at 2:30 that he's 50 miles away at a high school instead of going to the assigned spot that he was supposed to be at.
So I'll say this. His timing on telling them was god-awful. He could have told them. It's honestly unprofessional. He could have told. Yeah, it is unprofessional, but
the NFL was very unprofessional as well.
The NFL is also
both parties were.
There's both sides to it.
I'll tell you what. Like, I can't really get angry at him about that, just because how the NFL has treated him the last 3 years. He's been a cape, and like you saw, if you saw any of the videos, you saw his arm's still there. He could still play the game, and he could be better than a bunch of the teams that are having to use their backups now. He could get some work done in the NFL right now. So hear me out on this. It's not a good move. It's not a good look to do that to the NFL. Be like, hey, like I'm not there. I'm somewhere else. So if you want to come watch me work out, you got to drive another hour, bring your whole team, your whole team of reps to come watch. Like, that's not cool. But I'll tell you this. It's also not cool for someone who really has not done anything wrong. Like, there's people who have legal troubles that are suspended for 4 games and come back with no issues, with no repercussions from the NFL after that. So for a guy that hasn't done anything legally wrong to be blacklisted for 3 years, I can't really get mad at him for changing up at the last minute in the NFL, because the NFL has not done anything right by him up until this workout. So that's where I stand.
And what would you say, Leo?
Let me tell you what I say.
Before I get my take.
I'm two-sided on this situation, simply because, I'm very aware that both parties were very unprofessional in this matter. I don't think the NFL really had plans to have him on a roster, simply because they would have put him in a position to succeed. Normally workouts are on Tuesday. Guys on Saturday, they're traveling. They're not worrying about Colin Kaepernick working out. They're worrying about the game plan for this week. How we gonna make the playoffs? How we gonna turn our season around? This upcoming opponent. They don't care less what Colin Kaepernick is doing, because their mindset is on what they got on the game on Sunday. So the NFL did wrong. But in Colin Kaepernick's case, yes, there is positive and negative. And I'm not saying Colin Kaepernick, everything that he has done was right. I don't know how much Colin Kaepernick really wants to play football. I
would
think
agree with that.
I think it's more of a social justice fight. You seen him with the Kunta Kinte shirt, and trust me, ladies and gentlemen,
He's
I
done this
support
before.
everything Colin Kaepernick has done as far as police speaking out against
Brutality.
police brutality and justice in the
Absolutely.
world, economic, differences. I support him 100%. But at the same time, you're trying to be employed by a league
Exactly.
that does not want you to talk about these things. So how much of it is more of social justice and you're toying with the NFL, or how much it is you want to play in that league? Because if you want to play in that league, you would abide by their rules.
Now, I honestly, Leo, going off of that point, Rob, I just got to get,
I know. I gotta hop in
take
on
in
what
here
Leo
real
just
quick.
said too, but yeah, you got it.
But so I would look at that and I would agree with you on that aspect in terms of, here's a guy, he hasn't played in the league for 3 years. You go on social media, you post all your workouts. Look at me, I'm ready. I'm in physical shape, best shape of my life. Even Stephen A said he saw him. He looked like he was in the best shape of his career. He was ready to go. You say you want to play football, you just want a shot. You were blackballed by the league. But now you have an opportunity with 25 representatives, Lil. And I heard on the Stephen A show, he did say there was a lot of fans there with Kaepernick jerseys.
Stephen A went too overboard, in my opinion. I'll touch on that
I
later.
could go half and half on his take. But the point that I'm trying to make here is he has a picture-perfect opportunity here with 25 representatives that if they're there, they clearly support him and they want him. They want to see if he has a shot to be back in the league and maybe join their team. So they're there because they support him. Those specific representatives that were sent. But then when you go ahead and in complete unprofessional manner and say, "Oh, I'm 50 miles away," I could agree with Stephen A in that you may have given up your perfect shot to get back in the NFL team, and on an NFL team and on a roster by doing this and pulling this off. For Stephen A to say it was a PR stunt, I could agree with that because, Kaepernick obviously wants to make a statement.
But
and he's
Stephen
still
A. Stephen A.
supportive of
had his biases in there. Going at Reed, I believe that he was more about himself and just attacking Colin Kaepernick rather than saying you were wrong. Stephen A. goes the extra mile, and sometimes it's rubbed the wrong way, and it rubbed me the wrong way. And he's not the only one. I'll get into those other people in a few minutes.
I gotta get back in here. I gotta say this, Lil, you're saying that you agree with what Kaepernick stands for.
I
his social
definitely do.
justice.
I stand
and
with him.
I do as well.
I said it a lot on my show.
And I think I think what he has done with the kneeling in the past, I think it's a great way to protest, and he's not hurting anybody by doing that.
It's his First Amendment right.
Right, exactly. So my deal with that is like he wants to play in the NFL. Like the fact that he was like basically blacklisted from the NFL because of that kneeling, like again, my whole thing is he's not hurting anybody. So him wanting to kneel shouldn't be.
But what about the workout? Like, what do you disagree with what I said about the workout in particular? Because like JayZ said, we moved past the kneeling. What is going on with the workout, and why do you disagree with what I said?
The workout.
Because we already know he was blackballed, but he had an opportunity.
And it's like, you know what? The NFL knows he's been in shape, and it's like, I understand it was a bad move. I feel like it was a bad move to move to the high school to do the workout, especially as last minute as it was. I don't think that's a good move. But if you see, he's been in shape to play for 3 years. Like the last 3 years, you could have signed him at any point, given him a couple weeks to play.
My thing here is though, you're not getting to the point where as far as the workout in itself, and why do you disagree with us?
I'll give you that. So I disagree, but I also could agree. So here's how I'm perceiving this. So I agree with the fact that you put it at really not a prime time to have a workout. A Saturday is not a prime workout like you alluded to.
They didn't give a whole lot of room to negotiate that. They just said
because
that's the only.
Colin Kaepernick.
So they put it on a Saturday, right? Teams are trying to get ready for playoffs. Teams are trying to get ready to win the game on Sunday. I agree with you, but here's why I disagree. 25 teams sent a representative. This doesn't mean it was a main representative that has to do with working out with the team and getting them ready for the game. They sent a representative that would most likely be in favor of Kaepernick.
But let's talk about the waiver though. let's talk about the waiver. And like I said, I don't want to see like I'm jumping ship here, like it's a daggone ship war.
I mean, we're two-sided on
But I'm
it,
two-sided. But let's also bring up the waiver that the NFL wanted him to sign and what was in that waiver. And one of the things that was in the waiver was he couldn't collude. He couldn't talk about collusion anymore. He couldn't, do this. So they were limiting him a lot. It was not like a normal waiver that you would sign when you work out.
I think there with the
So
collusion,
he's literally being treated differently.
I feel like he wasn't allowed to talk about it because he got those millions of dollars, and that case was settled.
But they don't. The NFL is trying to save themselves from far more, from potential, detrimental and money that they will lose down the road.
Yeah.
And their image.
But here's the thing:
the
with
NFL,
that, I would
the NFL with this move by listen. Let me tell you. First of all, let me get to this point real quick. Because
let's hear it.
Though I believe Colin Kaepernick was set up in the best predicament to succeed, Kenny C, me and you just went on a trip to MetLife Stadium, right? We wasn't put in the best predicament to succeed.
I mean, yeah, not really.
We wasn't told how to use the equipment that we had.
We didn't know how to use the equipment.
We didn't know how to use the equipment. We wasn't told because they didn't want us using the equipment. They barely wanted us to go, right? We were yelled at. It was a lot of stuff that we went to. We were not put in the best place to succeed. Similar to Kaepernick, when the NFL told Kaepernick about the workout, it was very short notice. He could have been on vacation in Cancun, having to tell his wife, I got to come back to the States to work out. But the difference between us, we still went on a trip, and we still represented WSUC. Colin Kaepernick still worked out, but he represented Colin Kaepernick and not the NFL, and that's why Colin Kaepernick may not get a job again.
But the little thing that kind of got to me is that he wanted his type of media to come in.
He controlled the narrative in his
I kind
workout.
of disagree with that because, like,
you're not employing yourself.
But like,
no, but when you're
NFL
trying to bring the media into it, you got to focus on football, man. If you want to get back into football, you got to show these reps so you can still play football and get signed by a team.
This is where I stand with
He's bringing it kind of too much of a social standard. Like, if you want to get back in the game,
Kenny,
you got to get back in the game
Kenny,
and then worry about promoting what you believe in again.
Kenny, I gotta tell you, man, if he goes into that NFL facility with 25 teams are there, and they don't release that footage, and they only give it to the teams, they don't release it to the public. Now they can say he was trash and not give him a job.
That's the best point you brought up in this whole
That's what
argument.
I'm saying.
Literally.
That's
and I'm not even trying to.
That's
the point I was waiting for you to bring up.
That's why you move.
I didn't think about it like that.
That's where you move to your own facility. So like,
and I was going to get into that later.
You saw the bomb he threw. He threw like 60-yard bomb down the field. It's a strike. He can make that kind of throw. He can still play.
He's in physical shape to play.
So if the media is not at the NFL facility, that's a scary place for him to be, because of the way he's been treated by the NFL the last 3 years.
And that's a good point that you brought up. And that's why I said I'm two-sided. The NFL can control the narrative and say, look, we gave the brother the workout. He was trash, and we're not going to hire him. But at the same time, that is a risk Colin Kaepernick may want to take, because then the NFL can use this and say, look, you see, he worked at a small high school. That's why it was a win-lose situation. I think it was a publicity stunt the whole way.
I could see both sides, because I totally agree. Now that you brought that up, Robin, brought that in the limelight, I could see that 100%, that he, they could easily still blackball him and say, oh, he was terrible because they only sent footage to the teams and not the public. But on the other half, I agree, Lil, you may have trashed your only opportunity at maybe getting back in the league, because who knows? Even if there's only NFL media there, one of the team representatives with a terrible team, like, I don't know if the Dolphins were there. I think they were.
Right, yeah, I think they went to the normal one anyway.
The Dolphins, maybe the Bengals even. I mean, they could very well like this guy and say, we want him. You look good. Exactly. We could give you a tryout on the team. So it's definitely double-sided. Yeah. He definitely could have had a shot had he went, but now we'll never know.
And that's why, unlike Stephen A.Smith, right, I'm not just simplifying one person and trashing that one person. My argument, in case y'all wondering, like, what side are you on? My argument is that both parties were wrong in this whole Colin Kaepernick and NFL. The NFL been wrong for what they done 3 years ago, and they're wrong for not putting him in the best predicament to showcase his skills.
And
but Colin Kaepernick is wrong as well, because even though Colin Kaepernick may have tried to get back, maybe he was trying to clap back at the NFL, but it's not working in your favor, because you want to be employed. So I can't clap back at my boss and expect for him to rehire me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
He's basically saying,
what game are you playing? Are you playing the political game and social change game, or you want to be employed by the NFL?
All all I could say is my last thing here is the footage is out there. The footage is out there. We know he can still throw. We know he can still play. I'm not concerned about him being able to run. I'm sure he can run fine. So he can still be that scrambler type improvisation quarterback if you need one. But the biggest thing for me is it's out to the public. So if NFL teams that have terrible quarterbacks in right now, because there are teams running out terrible quarterbacks day in, day out, right? So they're running these guys out there. Now take a step back with me and be like, all right. So
but
the
thing is,
had he went, maybe the representatives of the terrible teams that were there, they would have said, "This guy looks good. We'll take him." But he didn't even show up. Both parties were unprofessional.
And you know what?
Unprofessional. This is like a little petty game going back and forth.
And a lot of the NFL teams, there's some NFL teams that want Colin Kaepernick that don't mind having Colin Kaepernick on their team, but they have to look to the NFL. And by what he did, doesn't show me that it's more about football than it is making a statement, making a political statement. And that's what these franchises is worried about. They want to know, listen, Colin Kaepernick, if we hire you about football, you know what I'm saying? Or you want to play football, or is this just a platform that you're using to promote social change? That's what I'm talking about from the NFL's perspective.
And I gotta say this. Colin Kaepernick could have easily stopped kneeling and stayed in the NFL in 2016 and just never left the NFL. He could have.
But then everything he stood for would have been a cop-out.
Right, exactly. So it's not all about the job for him. Otherwise, he would have given up on it.
True.
Like he would have given up on his stance and what he stands for, and that's not who he is. So it has to be both. He can't do it one or the other. He has to have both.
But at the same time, if you want to make political statements going forward, which, like I said, I support. Get in the NFL first.
Exactly.
That's when you will make the biggest impact, when you're on a roster and you can take another knee if you wanted to.
If he gets in, if he would have gotten in, he went to this thing, he gets back in the NFL. If you're in, the chances of the NFL blackballing you again are slim, because now the public is all about this.
And the public is on notice. And it's on notice. And they're on notice.
Exactly. They would blow up. They would put the NFL on blast had they blackballed him again. So
exactly. Get on the team first.
And because this is where
if you do that little workout and they say, all right, listen, Colin Kaepernick, we're not hiring you, then you're not making the same political statement that you would have made if you attended the workout, if you just put up with their nonsense, played by their rules, got in, and then if you wanted to do what you wanted to do, you was going to be able to do what you wanted to do. And then you'll make a bigger impact that way.
Here's where I heard Rex Ryan talking. It wasn't the Stephen A show. What's that other show that...
Get Up.
Yeah, that show. He was on that. I actually agree with one of his points. Maybe even if he went to the workout, the teams, they're going to say, are you about football? Because like Rex Ryan alluded to, nobody wants a circus in the locker room. These teams are professional teams that want to win. They want to win playoff games. They want to eventually win a Super Bowl. If he's going to cause a circus in the locker room, the teams might not take a risk on him. So that's the big thing. And by him doing this, Leo, and saying, 30 minutes to go. Yeah, by the way, I'm 50 miles over here. That shows an unprofessional standpoint to these representatives that were waiting for him, that maybe would have took a chance on him, and maybe now this foils his future with possibly getting in the NFL.
And I think, first of all, JayZ, honestly, I think JayZ had a plan with the NFL all along to give him just a workout, because I don't think it was about Colin Kaepernick with JayZ, because Colin Kaepernick would have been at the meeting with Roger Goodell. But because JayZ had a lot of backlash, especially from the black community with that partnership and Colin Kaepernick not being in the league, JayZ is like, all right, just give Colin Kaepernick a workout. So I think he had to push it. So even if he got in or not, he said, at least we gave him a workout. At least I don't look bad. I can get credit.
That kind of
JayZ is mad. JayZ is mad now. There's reports that he's mad and disappointed because Colin turned the NFL workout into a publicity stunt, in his opinion. So
JayZ's looking.
So JayZ's
he's looking to be an advocate for Kaepernick, and then he sets it up
maybe for his personal gain, but at the same time,
he still gave him the opportunity.
At the same time, bro, in this world, you got to play fire with fire. You got to use people how they use you.
When we talk about JayZ here for a sec, man. He honestly, if he stands for what he says he stands for, he shouldn't have partnered with the NFL until Kaepernick had a job. And that's my personal opinion.
I agree.
It's okay if you don't agree with that. That's fine.
I totally agree.
That's my opinion.
I think Colin Kaepernick should have been at the meeting.
I feel if JayZ never got the partnership, maybe nobody would have pushed the NFL to get a workout.
I disagree. I don't know. I think Colin Kaepernick should have been at the meeting, and part of the contract was, all right, We give Colin Kaepernick a workout, a legitimate workout, not no Saturday workout, a Tuesday workout. Give him a chance, and I'll partner with you. You know what I'm saying? When you sign a contract, brother, you read the contract before you sign it. You don't say, "Oh, I'm gonna make this business and do business with you."
He just went ahead
no.
and agreed. And
He went ahead, agreed.
And
He didn't have no communication with Colin Kaepernick. So this wasn't really about Kaepernick for the start. It was when he received the backlash, when he said to the NFL, "All right, the least you could do, the least you could do is give him a little workout. You know, whatever y'all do with him is what y'all do. Give him a workout." All right, the NFL said fine, and that's why it was on a Saturday and not a Tuesday, because they never had any intention of hiring Colin Kaepernick. They just wanted to make it look like, you know, because 3 years later, come on, brother, 3 years later, you mean to tell me you really want him on the league? He was blackballed. We all know that. But even though Colin Kaepernick didn't trust the NFL, you're Colin Kaepernick. If your goal is to be in the NFL, you gotta play by the NFL's rules, because they're the one that's going to be hiring you.
That is the thing that I'm saying right now. I'm saying that because you didn't show up to the workout, yes, you were put in a terrible time frame to shine because it's a Saturday and whatnot, like we said. You got to show up, man. This is your shot. You may not get another shot. These 25 representatives may think this guy is a joke. You know, he didn't come through. This is unprofessional.
Yeah, they're gonna take it as, this guy don't want to play.
Anything to do with you. You know, so it's double-sided. But he kind of
bottom line is
kind of screwed himself over a little bit.
The bottom line for me is playing by the NFL's rules. That the NFL's rules are wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they could have set this up so much better for him. Most definitely. They didn't, because they don't like him. They don't want him
in the league.
Because he's a threat to their name.
Exactly.
You know?
But
he's a threat to their corporation.
The bottom line is, we could talk about this all day, gentlemen.
We could, yeah.
But we got other things to get into. Where I want to leave this is, I think Kaepernick made the choice that he believed was best for himself in doing his own workout and having the media present. Mm-hmm. And I really hope he can get a job in the NFL, because he's capable of playing, and we've known this all along. He's been capable. And so that's the bottom line for me. Where
I stand and where I'm ending this off is, I'm still double-sided. The NFL, they played with him. They set him up for a bad time. But still, I think Kaepernick, you may have fooled your only shot at a future with the NFL by not showing up for the representatives that were there for you.
Both parties are wrong.
All
right, this is like a relationship, right? When both parties are wrong. You did me wrong. A bad relationship that's toxic, and that both sides are wrong. That's exactly what there is. The NFL was wrong. Colin Kaepernick, since you want to be employed by the NFL, you're wrong for not going by the NFL's rules. You're not going to run the NFL, right? So if this is about you playing football, you got to get yourself on a roster. Otherwise, it was never about you being on a roster. Number two, for people like Stephen A.Smith, I understand you're the highest paid on ESPN now. Congratulations. So I understand that you can't be two-sided. You kind of have to be. You gotta make hot takes. You gotta have to make the hot take that's against Colin Kaepernick. I understand that. Jason Ridlock, who was on Speak for Yourself, who said Colin Kaepernick supporters are just like him, confused, awkward, struggling with their racial identity. Between him and Marcellus Riley, who has been on Vlad TV publicly against Colin Kaepernick, we already know your agendas.
That's where they went.
We already know your agendas.
That's where they went way over.
Yeah, and they're wrong. They're wrong. To call call people that support him, because I guess I must be one of those awkward, struggling with their racial identity people, because I am a Colin Kaepernick supporter.
That's
so people like them, people like, I don't even think I'm gonna watch that show ever again because of that. Because when you make things personal, it gets personal. You didn't have to make it personal. It's your job for an hour and a half slot from 3 to 4:30 is to give your opinion, not to speak for the people or anybody, anything else but your daggone self. Right? That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Bring 2 points to the viewpoint. Say, listen, this is why I agree with this point. Not to call people out their name and say, oh, you're awkward and struggling. That's totally blasphemous. And these people are just wrong. And that's why y'all need to tune into In the Huddle. Because guess what? We give y'all an opinion and we don't say
straight up. We'll keep it real. And we respect each other's opinions in the huddle. And overall, Lil, I think that's definitely going to hurt the viewership of their show. I know you said you probably never watched them. I've honestly never watched that show. And from hearing that, I probably never will.
I've been ready for 3 years. I've been denied for 3 years. We all know why I came out here, showed it today in front of everybody. We have nothing to hide. So we're waiting for the 32 owners, the 32 teams, Roger Goodell, all of them to stop running. Stop running from the truth. Stop running from the people. We're out here. We're ready to play. We're ready to go anywhere. My agent, Jeff Nally, is ready to talk to any team. I'll interview with any team at any time. I've been ready. I'm staying ready. And I'll continue to be ready. And to all the people that came out here today to support, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. To the people that aren't here, I'm thinking of you. I appreciate you supporting from where you are. We'll continue to give you updates as we hear. We'll be waiting to hear from Roger Goodell, the NFL, the 32 teams. We'll let you know if we hear from them. Ball's in their court. We're ready to go.
Beats.